What it do, peoples, what it do. All right, listen. We're going to dive in. We're going to get to building kind of sort of ASAP, soon as possible and quickly. And yeah, we just hope everything is everything and everything comes out to work the way we wish it to work. That is all we want to happen here today. So let me turn that off. We are going to be installing this DeckLink quad recorder. That is it. I always got to do the little side angle over here. And I always got to put things by my face because manual focus. Anyway, we got to do DeckLink quad recorder. And then we're going to install it into this Sonnet box right here. This one is the Sonic SE1. If you are shopping, what you don't want to get is the Sonic SEL. The Sonic SEL is a lower profile and it may not fit your card because of the fan. It's good for other things, but it might not work in our particular situation. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this baby open. Let's get it twisted. Let's get this out of here. Let's see, are we set right? Let's go. Let's go. Man, I hate when it comes up just a wee bit crooked because I will sit here and tweak on this forever. Anyway, let me slide this baby out. Ooh, man, I just did clean the office, and so adding more boxes is not my favorite thing. It just turns out that there's that. What else it comes with? Let's see, here is documentations, and give it a shake. Make sure there's nothing else at the bottom. And no, so it does not, just in case you're wondering and you don't have one, it does not come with the Thunder Biscuit cable. All right, so we got lengthy power cord here. I will leave this in the cello. I have power cords galore. All right, it has a, oh, it does come with a cable. I lied. Here we go. This is a shorty. What we finna do with that, people? It is a shorty. Let's get this out of here. Let's see how many feet we came up with. It is a Thunderbolt 3 cable, and from there to there, it's approximately 3 feet. Maybe just a little bit smaller. It's a like 1 meter cable. All right, cool. We got that. That is cool. And then let's pull this out here. This is the switching power supply, and it looks like we are talking 12 volt 5 amp standard plug to go in there, which is cool. I have multiple 12 volt 5 amp power supplies floating around here, and this is the box itself. So let's get this open real fast, and then I will check on you guys in the comments to see what's crack-a-lacking. All right, so there we go. Here's your box. Let's use our little centimeter chart we got over here. Roughly 22 centimeters long. You can do the translation in your brain. And it is roughly 22 by 14. 22 by 14. And the last one is, let's see, 22 by 14 by 8 centimeters is the rough dimensions. It might be a wee bit larger or smaller than that accordingly. Okay, so there is the box itself. And, you know, if you were smart, Doc, you would have actually brought a screwdriver, which I didn't. So I would grab one out of the drawer in a second. But let me check on you guys to see how we're doing up in here. So if you're wondering, what is the purpose of building such a thing? Yeah, more and more, and I'm assuming for me because I've had my Cam Links since day one, and I bought them all roughly the same time. But more and more, I had 2 that failed just because, well, they're almost 7 years old, maybe 6 years old. And then the other one is kind of iffy, so it goes and comes. It can't really make up its mind if it's coming or going. So that's why I want to go to something like this. And the other thing is something that people bring up all the time when it comes to using capture cards in various programs, especially on the Mac. As your machine loses power and regains power, your cards will shuffle. So as a person who had 4 Cam Links plugged in, you will get Cam Link 1 is now Cam Link 3, and Cam Link 3 is now Cam Link 2, Cam Link 4 is now 0, and it would just scramble all over the place. And it's just the way that Apple pulls the USB bus and how UUIDs or USB identifiers work, and it would just scramble everything, and there was no way to sort of lock that in position. And that became a little bit irritated. Now, another question that came up whilst I was, describing this in the Ecamm group, talking to the folks on Facebook, one of the questions came up is why is it that Sonnet Technology is shipping this box as a Thunderbolt 3 and not a Thunderbolt 4? And just some clarity on the specifications for what we are going to do, which is live streaming. There is nothing that the Thunderbolt 4 class would add that's going to improve anything that's coming from this card. In theory, what we're going to get out of here probably could be sent over Thunderbolt 2 or USB-C. The advantage of doing it as a full Thunderbolt complement is that the power will be there. So you're going to get the full power spec. But yeah, it's not one of those things that's super important. So don't be psyched out because your computer has Thunderbolt 4 and all of the boxes that you will attempt to buy, whether it's Sonnet or OWC or some of the other ones that are out there, none of that's going to make a hill of beans when it comes to this particular task. So don't get freaked out about it. Okay, that's important. That is important. I see, yes, Andy's simple advice is build it because it's amazing. Yes, it is. It is definitely amazing if you were to ask me. So this is why I actually spec'd this build before I built it. And yeah, it's kind of funny. I've told a bunch of other people about building it, but I just kept putting it off, and then finally I built it. So the second port to this is this DeckLink Quad HDMI recorder card. And for our purposes, we don't really care about the recording part. But as we open this, let's go over here, and I'll show you what's in the box. You're going to get a welcome card. Welcome to Blackmagic Dizens. You're going to have a Blackmagic Dizen set of stickers. Go Apple. You're going to see, listen, I love this. Online manual, the latest software, learn more. This is all you need to get started. Grab the online manual, check. Grab the latest software, check. And then go to the website to learn more, check. And this is one of those things that people get it and they go, I don't like it because it didn't come with a manual, but it did. Let me show you. Boom. Here is the manual. It's already there. It is on their website and ready for you to roll. So if you follow the instructions and grab the online manual as it's telling you to do, you will see this guy is not Kevin Lyons. That is Grant Petty, the CEO of Blackmagic Designs. Him and Kevin, not related at all. Kevin says, I'm about to build the same build. Cam Links are getting flakies at time. I'm curious, how many 4-port cards can you add to one Thunderbolt cable? 8. Not 8 cards, but 8 ports, if I remember correctly. So, Kevin, to that point, I believe you can get, beat it, Grant. I believe you could get the slightly larger version of this Sonnet box, and it's $6.99, and it has 3 card spaces. And then so because Thunderbolt 3 supports all 4 PCIe lanes, you should be able to rock 2 of these cards in a single box. You might even be able to chance 3 because you'll just plug in 2 Thunderbolt cables, in which case you would be accessing basically all 4 of the PCIe lanes. And what we're going to do, we only need 1 lane, right? So if you plug in the other cable, the box is probably smart enough to send it down the other lane. So there's that. Good question, Kevin, even though you did not put a Q. I knew your point. All right, it wasn't really a question. It was me helping you think this through. Okay, now the other situation is they're going to want you to download the Blackmagic desktop video app And I already did that, knowing that I was going to install this and knowing that I was not going to be able to do a restart whilst we were live. So anyway, there is the QR code to download the instruction manual, but it's on Blackmagic site directly. So let me go ahead and open this little card. When I open these cards, I like to give these a couple rubs and then touch something metal. That will eliminate you shocking anything. Hawaii, we don't really have as much a static problem as places that are cold, but this is what the card looks like. It's tiny, and one of the complaints I've heard about this card is this tiny little fan is loud as the dickens. I will give you some ideas on how to make that quieter, but one of the first things I will do, which I am dumb that I forgot to do ahead of time, was order a longer Thunderbolt cable. By doing that, I will be able to put this guy on the floor. The biggest problem, long Thunderbolt cables are not exactly cheap, but it'll be well worth it. So the other thing that they give you is they give you a card to remind you that you can download DaVinci Resolve for free. Under normal circumstances, when you get a camera from Blackmagic, they will let you actually download the DaVinci Resolve Studio version, and that will give you the full complement of Resolve. All right, cool. Andy has the SDI version, and it's amazing. Let me grab the old screwdriver. I'll use the wee lad one. I grabbed two just in case. I like my little wee screwdriver because it's good for these sort of tasks. Let's kick it back to the overhead syndrome. And let's see. Chassis removal. Looks like we're removing the 4 screws from the front. Actually, before we break that, let's go back to this. It might also slide from the bottom, which is cool. It'd be kind of cool if it was toolless, but it is not. Yes, you are going to remove the 4 screws from the bottom. Boom. There we go. There's the answer to that question. The wee lad might not fit in there. It does. People, unless you buy one of those really soft screwdrivers, do not call yourself being cute and use a mechanical screwdriver to do this type of stuff. I've seen so many people in IT ruin cases and chassis because they did not want to give it the 12 to 13 spins it takes to remove a tiny little screw. So don't do that. That's just bad. It's and then it's stripped, and then it's just not a good look. Just do it by hand. There are now these smaller, simpler screwdrivers that won't have as much gumption as your Bosch or your Yobi. It's not a Ryobi, it's a Yobi. All right, so the bottom card you cannot take out. That is the Thunderbolt controller. So that's there. A lot of these guys do have the ability to upgrade that Thunderbolt controller to more ports. If you can find one, that does exist, but this is a single height card. Now in here, this fan is a Sonnet, also might be kind of a loud fan. One of the upgrades I posited making to this particular case is replacing this fan for one by a brand called Noctua. Noctua is a higher quality fan with quieter ball bearings designed to be silent in studio and gaming environments. So that might have to go down. Depends on how loud this box is. I've heard some people say it's loud. Some people say it's great. Andy, yours being a SDI version, I wonder how loud that sucker cooks. So we're taking out that one screw. We're going to place this in. And normally, again, it only goes one way. So don't be crazy. And do not force it in. Line these babies up. The locking card is fighting me. So let me remove this other back plane too, because that is being used to lock the card in position. Kathy, I see your question out the corner of my eye, and you have is a hub problem. Your hub or your USB interface is not properly powering, so you might want to get that checked. Okay, so now again, let's make sure you get your holes lined up, line this in position, and I like to normally do this flat, but I'm showing you, so I'm going to do this as carefully as I can. You don't want to rock, you just want to push straight in. And then now look at here to make sure that it's all the way pushed in. And it is. Got a little bit of flex on the bottom board. That means it's pushed all the way down. Line this up with the attachment screw. And let's get it attached. And depending on your dust environment, you do not have to put the other back plate back. It is an air plate, but I'll put it back. It really depends on you. My room is not hyper dusty, but it's dusty enough, and I am like neat freak enough not to want the dust. So I'll put this back plate back. And again, this dummy plate is really just for keep it cute. Andy says put it under the desk. Yes, that is my intention, is to place it under the desk. So I will have to get a longer cable. Let's see. What did Curtis ask the question and Vicky answered said question? Yes and no. If the box is for an external GPU, it will work. But taking a box that was an external GPU, yanking the GPU out of it might not work. So it really depends on how the box was made. But I'm sure you probably have the very similar version of this or one of the slightly newer versions of this, and in which case you will be fine. Let me give this a little light untwisting here. It's too tight, causing a little bend, and I don't want to bend. There we go. That's better. All right. That part is gold. See, it's that easy. It really is a matter of seconds. Look for the case that has the rolled in. That's the back. The case without the rolled in is the front. Line this puppy up like such. Slide her in there. And then put the feet back. You'll notice that I put my feet on the table in order. That probably doesn't matter for this, but it's just a habit as an old tech. When I take screws and stuff out, I tend to put them back in the order to which they came. Okay, also, another old tech trick, when I screw these things in, I do not screw them in completely tight until I get all 4 screws bit and inserted, and that just happens to do with sometimes you got to give these things a little massage in order to get the alignment back straight, and that just has to do with weird manufacturing. Normally not a problem on Apple hardware, but this ain't Apple hardware. And I can already see like that feet doesn't really align. So I got to give it a small squeeze when I go to drop this one in. And a bit. So yeah, then I go back and tighten them all at the end once I get them all in place. That would just save you the frustration as you're trying to put it back and you feel like it's not going back in. It's one of those weird things that has to do with fast manufacturing. So that one's gold. And don't over tighten this stuff. These are just rubber feet. Like if you over tighten it, you will strip it. This stuff is not aircraft spec or mil spec as we call it in the streets. I'm using the ratchet to help me figure out the torque. All right, cool. There we go. We have our Sonnet box all signed, sealed, and delivered. Let's go. Let's plug this baby in. Let's see how loud it is. Wow, that's cool. That is cool. This is actually, how do I say this? This is powered by the 12 volt, and then you plug it in through the Thunderbolt. I'm hoping that the cable I have on my desk is long enough to reach it. So I'm gonna have to unplug this. Boom. I had my Osbot tail air connected. Move my little USB checker tester and put these screwdrivers back. And then now I'm going to you guys can't hear that. I'm going to insert this cable here. Place it off to the side like such, where hopefully I can still see as I go to insert some HDMIs. There we go. And this being right next to my Shure, if it's loud, you will hear that it's loud. Let me grab my cable. Start off, but I don't usually. Normally, I have a floating black power cable somewhere around these parts, and I must have unplugged it for something because it's not in position. I like to keep a floating black power cable connected to use for these just such a test. But since I don't have that, let me pop that. Let me check on you guys while you're here. Yeah, so that you'll be good. You'll be good, Curtis. Yeah, because we can't really use GPUs right now with the M class machines. They don't necessarily do GPUs. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Rich. Rich is old school, like lug nuts. Man, I wonder how many people, say, under the age of 30 have actually ever changed a freaking tire. Like, we had to learn that mess in school. Nowadays, I think kids don't know how to change tires. Okay, so that is plug it in. And then I'm going to plug this in. And then let's power this box up. Luckily, I already have the Blackmagic software installed again. I did that ahead of time so that we don't have any restart problems. And I think I covered all of the system preference permissions that it asked for. Hopefully, it won't bother us anymore. Pro tip, if you get these cables and this stuff bothers you, it bothers me. What you do is you hang this up in the air with the weight of this down and then take a hairdryer on medium for 2 or 3 minutes and help get some of the wrinkles out of the crappy memory shielding that's on cables. Another reason why I like to upgrade to braided cables. I can't stand that. Okay, so there it is. Let me let you hear the fan. The case fan is quiet. However, let's get the Blackmagic started, and then when we fire that baby up, we'll see how obnoxious it is, okay? So let's come hither and move this out of the way, and then let's fire up BLACK. That's not Blackmagic. You actually go desktop, DSK, desktop video setup. Boom. All right, that is there. And what I'm going to do for the people in the chatty chat is do one of these numbers here. Change this to Blackmagic video desktop setup. And then let's not ruin this. I want to copy this and let's go here. No, 1 second, people. I'm going to duplicate. All right, you guys do not need to see a large melon, so let's demelon this stream. We'll get small melon or small melon, and then we'll do one of these here, and we'll embiggen this. Woo. There we go. There you go. That's much better. Okay, so here it is. It is a Blackmagic Quad HDMI recorder. If you press on this button here, It tells you there's a little status report. We don't need to do that. We can label the product note, serial number, where I purchased it from. I'll fill all of that stuff in later, but let's cancel that. And then here's your video input, your HDMI, HDMI 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here's what's cool about these. If you go to here, I think you could actually label the name of the various spots that are on here. For now, I'm going to leave those in position. And here is your, oh yeah, so this is labeled. So let's do this. Let's call this ZVE1. Okay? And we're going to call it that. You know, this particular one, let's call this OBSBOT TIL air. Boom. We're going to save that. The reason why they're asking you about your serial numbers and whatnot is that if you're in a, you already got this stuff connected, you might not want to climb in the ceiling to go get the number. So by doing this, this should be able to help you. RASBERRY pi. I'm just going to do that. And then we're going to save that. All right, so I'm going to leave the last one open for now because I can't think of anything else I have in here that I could randomly grab in HIMD. Oh, let's try this. This might work. Let's do this. Let's do MAC BOK Pro. Let's see, M twice. This might work. This might work. Okay, cool. So I just labeled my inputs. 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. A 4. All right, let me check on you guys. You love to look at the keyboard. I just changed the keycaps. It really isn't that color, but yeah. Yes, the star pattern. Exactly. I just crisscrossed it. I spent years working with the Blackmagic Ultra Studio. Grew fond of a dislike for tech. I got it. Well, this one is kind of simpler than that. We actually have one of those Ultra Studio 4Ks in the Ecamm office. So first things first, let's grab this guy, and then I will unembiggen this guy. We don't even need that for right now. And so here is the Z Victor Echo 1. And for now, I will take my arsenal off the top because it's not needed for this. And then have a little one of these. Let's just put this here. Grab a Kabale. Good Lord, Doc. This is a long cable for this particular test. That's okay. I'm not going to search for a smaller cable. Okay, quickly. Okay, not a smaller cable, but a nicer one. See, you got to have these things on deck, people. You got to have these things on deck. Like, these cables are not that expensive, but keeping them on deck means that when you need one, you got one. All right, let me undo this real quick. And I feel like there should be some theme music. You had to get one on the ride home from Creator Camp. I wonder what Kathy got. All right, so yes, I brought out my little USB tester we were talking about the other day, Kathy. This alone could probably solve the problem that you're having with your Rodecaster, because 9 times out of 10, it's just crappy cables. All right, so there's that, and then I don't know how this is numbered on the back, so I'm going to be guessing, and hopefully we nail it. But we'll see. I'm going to plug this in first, and I'll know right away if I hit it as 1 or 2. So let me move this out the way and put this on Do Not Disturb for the next hour. And then let's do one of these numbers. Why are you not doing what I asked you to do? Oh, I know why. Wow, Doc. Fat fingers. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to know. This is how it shows up in Ecamm. If I were to go to camera C, you see I got Blackmagic, quad recorder, all of these guys in place. I think I'd have to quit Ecamm and come back for this to pull the proper labels. Andy will tell me if I got it right. Dude, Raph, we are going to have our creator set up in Japan coming real soon. All right, so right now it is in the link. Let me grab it. I will show you the link. Let's see. That is on. I have never checked this to see if the HDMI out is properly set. So let me do that real quick. I'm going to go here. And then we go to the bottom. Bam, 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 bam. External output. HDMI resolution auto. HDMI output settings on. Output resolution 4K. Time code output off. All right, so that should work. Boom. And it says HDMI. Okay, all of these say HDMI. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I have this plugged into the wrong port. So let me show you something real quick, gang. If I come to here, and where'd my overlay go? Aha. Aha. So the one furthest away from the power cord is actually HDMI 4. But you'll see here, it says I am bringing in 2160 at 2997. So what I'm going to do is remove the HDMI cable from that particular socket, and I'm going to put it in the first socket. Boom. And then I'm going to move this back. Boom. There we go. ZVE1, 2160 at 2997. So I am snatching a full 4K with this particular input. Okay. So now let's add another. Boom. I'm going to take the Osbot tail air and I'm going to grab another HDMI cable. I am making a lovely mess on my desk here. Let me move this. I just cleaned my office yesterday, and now, I don't know how y'all do it. Y'all messy desk people, I do not know how you supposed to breathe with no air. That's my question. All right, so I'm gonna plug this into the tail air, and we'll know right away what I have the tail air set to export HDMI. So put this here, pull this, lay this out of the way. Move, get out the way. All right, there we go. And we're going to plug this into the second slot, which should be the second slot away from the power cord. That should be number 2. Give it a second to catch. And it says that is pulling 1080/60. So on the tail air software, I could go in and change that. But I like how this is telling me what I am getting. What did I have next on the party? I had Raspberry Pi. Let's grab my Raspberry Pi cable and plug it into the third socket. Give it a check and a think. Might have to reboot the Pi if it doesn't catch anything. It didn't catch right away. Let me try another thing before I mess this up. Plug this into the different socket on the Pi. Give it a second to think. If it doesn't, I'll reboot the Pi. I don't have a monitor on this particular Pi, so I just had, it was a thing that I had closer to my desk that had HDMI on it. So I'll reboot the Pi. Give that a second to think. And the last one I'll do is I'm going to pull my notebook out, the MacBook Pro, and we'll put in a standard HDMI cable and see what that screams. Ooh. Hey, look at that. The Pi pulled up and says 640 by 480 60p. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. This is really cool, people. People, holla. All right, let's open up the old MacBook here and wake it up. Fingerprint, there we go. Let's put this on. We have yesterday's replay of Anna and Fulhens. Grab another ASMR. He's simple. Like, he's absolutely simple. His mama definitely dropped him on the head. All right, so let's put this in here into the fourth socket and then plug it in. Boom. All right, let's check and see what it says when it says MacBook Pro. It is thinking. Uh-oh. I done did something to you. Let me check the display settings on your MacBook here. And display. It does show. Oh, I didn't catch. Oh, it found it. It says BMD HDMI. Isn't that special? 1920 by 1080. Really weird. It shows up here that it's reading the Blackmagic because it says BMD HDMI, but it's not showing up here just yet. Okay, so we got all of this. This is all sauced and figured out. There's all of those things connected. And then if I come over here to Ecamm, pop on one of these. Actually, let me make these slightly bigger. I'm going to turn you off temporarily, screen share, and then I'm going to pull this, click this, change it to 16 by 9, and boom. There, my friends, you have the ZV connection just popping. I'm going to bring this down here, and then let's go to camera D. We're going to select number 2. And where is that coming from? That is coming from the OBSBot tail air. So we're going to drop that there. I might have to reboot this to make it wake up. And then we're going to pull this over to here. And we're going to go to camera echo, which is 3, which should be pulling from the Pi. And that's a bad example. So I might grab my iPad to make that work. And then we're going to do 4. And 4 is, 4 is the tail air. Huh? What? All right. I'm going to have to reboot Ecamm to make it see where it is. But, yeah, my software is not reading what it says is reading, but I could just be high. That could be me. I won't blame this on this. But it is in there, and everything is working. So I got the ZV-E1 there. 1080 60 there. And then, yeah, the MacBook didn't bite. Why? Let me try. Well, all of these things are set up as directed. So what happens if I were to... I'm going to do something here. I'm going to, just for the SNGs, unplug this box and plug it back. It also might be because I don't have a way right now while we're live to reboot Ecamm, but the main thing is it's working. Here, everything should shut off for a second. Oh, it's all gone. Plug it back. Give it a second to think. You know what's crazy is this fan is not that loud. I'm sorry, whoever said the fan was loud, you might be your situation, but it's not that loud. I'm also not tweaking everything at the 4K. Yeah, that's really weird. It says extend display. Let's do mirror display. Let's see if that does thing. Mirror the built-in display. Does that make it bite? It also could be my weird HDMI cables. It might not like this. And again, something tells me that if I were to reboot this, it might be different. So let's do something tricky here to rock a rhyme this right on time. It's tricky. Yo. That's so cool. That is just super cool. All right, so that's this one. And then let's do that. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the iPad real quick and see what we come up with. Let's see. Okay, Andy says it does not pull labels. There you go. Carlos says, love this setup. Oh, Carlos, you have yours set up like this already too? That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. But Andy, to the point, and double check me if I'm wrong, once you said it and you know what they are, they're not changing. They're not changing, right? They stay stuck. I have the screen share turned on for the MacBook. The MacBook actually does recognize it as being there, but it's not catching. It also could be I use this cable a lot, so the cable could be dying because I travel with this cable. So Andy says Ecamm does not pull in the labels, but Presenter Pro pulls in the labels. Okay, so make sure you let Ken and Glenn know that so we can have it pull the labels from the software. Although we know good and well a majority of the Ecamm family is not going to properly set up the labels. Okay, so this cable was the Raspberry Pi. I'm going to 86 this cable. I'm going to grab my iPad, which I have here. And then I'm going to look at my little magic box of wonders here. I'm curious. Everybody got one of these at camp. So let me move this real quick. What did you put in your magic box of wonders that you got at camp? I'm going to reach in mine real quick so you can get a peek of the type of things that I keep in my magic bag of wonders. I hope I don't have no J's in here. Boom. That's what's in my... You want to know what can fit? Like, how much stuff can you fit in the magic bag of wonders? You need a book of matches from Yamachan, because you never know when you need a match. Lighter also works. The level, you guys got one of those. You got a little wrench. You guys got one of these. And this is not in the right position, but you have a thumb drive, USB-A, / USB-C, because you never know what you're going to be stuck with. You got your MVX2U in case you need to do some microphoning. You have your adapters. Mine have brown tape because Adrian borrowed them. He wanted to make sure he gave it back to me. Thank you, Adrian. You have the magnet adapter for the little camera. You have a Thunderbolt cable. And then what I really need is one of these joints. Here you go. USB-C to HDMI. This one is Lightning to HDMI. Ooh, I could do two different tricks. Cool. Let me take these out of here. And then close this. Both of those should work. Yes, I know you can plug these things directly without using the HDMI cable, but for this particular demonstration, it's easier, you know? It kind of matches what we're trying to do. So we're going to take this, HIMD, and I will pull one from this iPhone. And again, let me wake up this iPhone, go to the old tubes of you, turn this down. Why are you asking me stuff like that? I don't care. We're going to pull some Manchester United footage, pop this in. All right, so we're going to leave that there. This might be mad. It might need power. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Let me pull a little power just in case. And then I'm going to give it an HDMI cable. Wow, this is an old shorty, but it'll work. Hopefully it'll work. Sometimes these older cables, it doesn't like them because they don't have enough gumption. But let's plug that in and see if it bites. Boom. Okay, so the phone bit right away. Let me switch over so I can show you. Come here, mouse. I'm running out of mouse real estate. See that? The phone bit. So this is coming from the phone. So that was cool. And then let me try the old iPad here. Let me wake this up. Close the MacBook. iPad on top of the MacBook. And then wait for that to wake up. Face ID. Let's pull in a stream. This dork is streaming. Volume down. HDMI cable. Booyaka. Stage Manager is showing you the wrong thing, but even the iPad bit. So, if I go to full screen, and why is Stage Manager showing you the wrong thing? Let me do this. I have to turn off Stage Manager, but it is working. Why does camera E have sepia tone turned on? Okay, let's go. Stage Manager. Off. And then now we should have gravy. Oh yeah, pen and zoom. There we go. Now we're cooking with Pam. Oh, I know what it's trying to do. Oh, you know why? Dude, I was freaking myself out wondering why it's showing the Mac desktop, but it's not showing the Mac desktop. What it is showing. You're such a donkey. I'm watching the stream. So, yeah, you're seeing the stream. Oh, my God. What a maroon. So there you go, folks. It works. It works like a heavyweight champion. It is in the building. Yes, you can see the quality of the cameration is good. Let's pop this up a little bit. You are watching me through a series of wires, just the way I have it set right now. Let's do this. Let's click on here. Boom. And hey now. All right, yeah, so you're getting to watch this through a series of wires, which is a wee bit hilarious. And I need to open the aperture on this guy just a touch. That's a little bit psycho. Boom. Wait, what do you mean in the biz? What biz? What biz are you talking about? Oh my God, what biz are you talking about? Yes, will this solution make it easier to use a M1 MacBook Air? Yes, we would assume so. You know what? That is a very good question. Drugs, that is a good question. One would assume so, because I am only pulling in one cable. The problem is I have my other stuff still connected to the other stuff. Wait, that's dumb. I still have my other camera still connected elsewhere, but in theory, yes. Oh, in the restaurant bigs. Yes, I did. I waited tables for like 10 years. Yes, I did. That's funny. So here's a synopsis. It's basically plug and play. Like, I could have trusted my 14-year-old niece to do this, right? It was a matter of putting the card in without screwing it up. It's a straight push. It was a matter of connecting all the cables. Listen, I didn't even have to spend the time to write the labels in on this software because it don't really do anything. At the end of the day, it doesn't really do anything right now. For me, it's not reading these particular joints, but I agree with Andy. It would be cool if it does, but hey, kind of doesn't matter. Maybe we'll get the opportunity to label our cameras in the placeholders. Either one of those would make this job a lot simpler, but quite effective. It plugs right in. It does just work. The driver that you had to install is not even really a driver. Macs don't use drivers. We use kernel extensions, but we'll call it what they call it. You literally just double click, it installs, it tells you to restart the machine, and then you're gravy from there. One thing that I do question, and I will do this real quick because Andy made me think of it. I'm going to go to QuickTime Player. I don't want to be a player no more. I'm not a player. I'm just Dr. Rock. All right. And then click here. And, oh, QuickTime does not see it at all. So that's interesting. QuickTime does not see it in any way, shape, or form. So that test kind of bites because normally we're going to be like, hey, test it with QuickTime to see if it will work. Let's see something else. Oh, nope. Let's try Media Express. Let's see what that does. In theory, with Media Express, we can record 4 of these bad boys at once. I'm going to close desktop video software because it doesn't serve a purpose for what we're doing right here. Okay, so if we go to capture, man, it's been so long since I used this thing. Edit the tape. So we got our video 1, 2, 3, 4. And let me go ahead and check the preferences. So the project format, we can do, let's just do 1080-30. And we're going to capture this file as, let's do 8-bit YUV. That's good enough for us. And then set the decks to pre-rolls. All right, we got all of that. Boom. Andy has a question. It does not show up as a camera. Yeah, all right, cool. So we click this. All right, it doesn't do that. It was worth a shot. Just wanted to see if Media Express would play this stuff back, but it won't let me do the capture, which is fully understandable. That's cool. Under device, it does have the different devices here on the top, but yeah, we don't need that. That's irrelevant to our task. Let's quit that. Let's stop messing around and breaking stuff. The software has to use the SDK to bring it in. Oh, there you go. See? There you go. But we don't really need that. It doesn't serve us any purpose for what we are doing. All right, so on a scale of 1 to simplicity, I'm going to give this, come on, man, stop pressing the wrong button. I'm going to give this the easiest pie. Like, it was super simple to set up. And for me, I'm going to use it for cameras. So it doesn't really matter. But the fact that it does, in good quality, bring in a feed from my other phone in good quality. So people are often asking, like, how can I show this and do this and like look, I'm gonna probably get a content strike, but these guys are my friends, so maybe I can talk to them. It does bring in the feed at good quality. As you can see, this other camera here looks good. Sorry for the handheld and the booger shot. Get the aperture, boom, that should be about even. And then got my little focus action. I mean, the camera's coming in gravy. Dude, can I tell you, you guys don't know this, but ZV-E1, this thing is saucy. Look at that autofocus. This thing is saucy. Everybody who's looking to upgrade and you want to go to full frame, A7C or ZV-E1 will do you proud. Will absolutely do you proud. Anyway, that looks great. Image quality, let's get in big end up in here. I'm going to aperture this down just a smiggy. Because if I open the aperture all the way up, good Lord. Wait. There we go. Man, that is gravy. That is some high quality gravy right there. Yes. Absolute gold. All right, so again, why would you want to do this? You're sick of capture cards. You want something that's a little bit more stable. You want the simplicity of knowing that the cameras you put in position are going to stay in position and are not going to fluctuate all over the place. And yeah, I haven't tested it, but I will test according to Dragon's point. If in some way, shape, or form, it gives us a less hit on the resources needed in order to do a particular thing, right? So if you have a smaller computer that doesn't have as much, let's say, power, and you want to check to see if there's any way, shape, or form in which you can show that off without dragging down the CPU in your machine, that will be one of the other options. So yeah, this, as you see, it works flawlessly. It is absolutely cool. And yeah, can't wait to check this out. All right, let's go here. Oh, that doesn't work. Let's do this. Okay, you're updated. Yeah, this works real good, right? If you wanted to drop in a camera situation, and again, I'm just pulling stuff from the iPad, you know, that works fabulously. Which would be cool because if you set your iPad up to do some green screen type stuff, it would work. So does this use resources then via? Oh well, yeah. The USB, okay, is using the same resources as one, right? Because it has to pull in one connection from the Thunderbolt / USB-C bus, right? So, but it only needs that one. All of the other work is being done by this box and the chassis. So theoretically, it will take up the exact same amount of resources, but in your USB-C version, you try to plug in another camera, you're going to run into some issues, right? Now, this is not for the faint of heart, okay? You're talking, what, $595 for the card and $300 for the chassis. So you're going to be basically $900 in the pocket. So if you're coming off of USB-C and you're going to forego the $150 capture card to jump straight up to $900 capture card, that's a little cray. However, like I believe George stated or Curtis stated earlier, many times you might be able to find a used chassis because people had it with eGPUs which no longer work. So you might be able to suss the eBay or something and get a used chassis. Also, you can get an Intensity card which only has two. Intensity card's like $200, and it only has, you know, left and right. So if you don't need all four, then don't get all four. If you're crazy like Andy and you needed to have that, SDI version with the 8 inputs, yeah, that's a different card. That's like $1,500, right? So it depends on what you need. And he's doing it for a larger church, so that setup is, a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Josh, so far it's quiet, bro. Maybe it's just my SM7B, but I will say this: you can't hear it in the stream. I can definitely hear it. So, Josh's point was probably that the noise bothered him more so than the stream. Yeah, I can hear it, but it's not loud. But I can definitely see where that could get psycho. I'm also only using one particular thing that's coming in at full 4K. The other ones are coming in at 1080 right now because I haven't put my cameras on. But this is how loud it is. Wait, I can't do this very easily. But come here, girl. That's all of it. But yeah, so my first move, I'm telling you, and I don't know why I forgot when I ordered this. My first move is to get a longer Thunderbolt 3 cable so it can go on the floor underneath my desk. My desk is a 3-inch thick piece of monkey pod, so that will 86 a majority of the sound, right? If you have a little presswood desk, that's not going anywhere, but my desk is thick and THICC thick than a mug. Here, let me see if you can see. That's thick. She's a thick girl. This is funny because this desk is literally a cheap 72-inch Husky desk. I did not like the top, but being the woodsman that I am, I just took off their crappy top and took a piece of monkey pod, or you guys call it rain tree, that was living in my shop. Look how beauty it is, right? Isn't that party? So the other thing is that desk was 24 inches deep, which is like way too skinny for anybody of any particular size to do any particular work. And I wanted 36 inches deep. So I took off the top that came with the Husky and I replaced it with the 350-pound monkey pod slab. But the advantage is, oh, you can't hear it in the stream. All right, good. So yeah, it's because right next to the mic. I mean, like, as you saw, it's literally right here. So yeah, I'll move it on the floor and then that will solve that problem. All right, gang. Thank you, Dr. Elo, for the super chat. I appreciate you, bruh. Always doing the best. All right, gang. That'll be it for today. As you now know, I need to clean my office again and rearrange things and start plugging in cameras and order a longer Thunderbolt cable. There's that. Oh, I wanted to get that link for David, who wanted to know the link for the TerraDex USB thingy. Hold on. Amazon. And then let me get you a link. Yo, this thing is really handy. I went through so many cables yesterday. It's almost therapeutic. Like being able to go through your cables and throw out all of the ones that you know are going to cause you hassle. And like, I think it's brilliant to cut them babies up, because if you put it back somewhere and you see it, you're going to pull it out. And then when you pull it out, you're going to use it, and then you're going to try to make it work, and it won't work, and you're going to be mad. Oh, I see. That is funny. I just tried to paste that into the chat for... I just tried to paste that into the chat for the flow, and that does not work because that show is over. That is too funny. All right, there you go. There it is. You got tinnitus. Thank you, Andy. Thank you. If shipping them from Hawaii wasn't so expensive, I would be making these things all day long and selling it. But I think Monkey Pod Slab a slab this size and this pretty and monkey pot would set you back about $7 or $8 grand. It didn't cost me that. It cost 3 years of drying in the warehouse. But yeah, like with the labor and everything, it'd probably be like a $7,000 to $8,000 slab. So yeah, I don't know if I would if I would make any money, but for people who had the money and wanted a pretty desk that's also riseable, because I can stick a drill in the spot that's designed to lift it, and it should lift. But that thing had a 400-pound capacity. I used the majority of that capacity for the slab. Anyway, you guys rock. I will see you guys. Don't forget to jump in the Discord. And yes, we'll see you on Saturday. I appreciate you all. I love you, and I mean it. Goodbye.
City of mine, how I love the city of mine. It never gets me down. City of mine, how I love the city